Welcome to Films and Stuff with your hosts, Pete Mitchell and Ethan Hunt.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Films and Stuff. I am Ethan, joined, as always, by MVP. That stands for Most Valuable Pete. Hey, Pete. Good morning.
Morning, buddy. How are you?
Everything is great. It is bright and early on a Saturday. As regular listeners know, that means one thing only. It means get a hot cup of tea and dig in for another installment of our stream or skip segment. Every week, I introduce a segment. I introduce you, and then you, in usually 20 seconds or less, recount the rules and the overall, idea of what is stream or skip. So without further ado, Pete, I turn it over to you.
All right. So Ethan and I have prepared lists of TV shows for each other to watch. Every week, we randomly assign each other one of those shows. We watch at least 2 episodes if it's a series, or 30 minutes if it's a feature-length program. And on that basis, we determine if it's a show that's worthy of being streamed or skipped.
Right, you are, my friend. This week, I was on Netflix, and you assigned me something called Hostage.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, I have given it a mooch. But it is very, very solid political drama / political thriller. And I think it would particularly appeal to you. And it's got a very, very good niche in this kind of genre. So let me explain the plot. We begin with the British Prime Minister. And we are introduced to her and her husband and what I think is an adopted daughter. Her husband is kind of like the Doctors Without Borders program.
Yeah.
He seems to be in something kind of similar to that. So she is hosting the French Prime Minister, and her husband is going on some type of trip to Africa to, do his tour or something with Doctors Without Borders. We meet the French Prime Minister, but there is a deep rift between the two prime ministers, the French prime minister and the British prime minister. There's an immigration issue. The French prime minister is a little bit more conservative, wants the UK to, do something about the rising immigrant issue. And on the flip side, the UK is somehow having a crisis in terms of healthcare. And a lot of the medications, many of which are made by French pharmaceutical manufacturers, are either not available or not readily available. So there's a lot of pressure on the British Prime Minister to try to solve this shortage of medicines and to, kind of fix NHS. French Prime Minister taking a very strong stance against the immigration issue, going so far as to offer to put French military on the shores of the UK. And they are meeting in this very highly publicized, kind of politically charged summit to discuss these two issues. And it seems as though they're going to both compromise, French government giving more access to medications, British government conceding that, the French can be on British soil and, try to address the immigration issue. But there's a lot of tension in the summit. In the background, the British Prime Minister's husband is kidnapped behind this very politically tense negotiation. The British Prime Minister is trying to think about what she's going to do about her kidnapped husband. And the demands are as follows, and this is where it gets very, very politically intriguing, shall we say. They don't mention the country, but you can kind of assume that it's something like one of these former French protectorates.
Mm-hmm.
And for that reason, Britain is hesitant, even if they know where the husband was, they're hesitant to create a bigger political storm by sending in troops to the kidnappers. They tell the British Prime Minister, the only way we won't kill this guy is if you resign as Prime Minister. So, of course, now she's in a very, very difficult position. She doesn't know if she should tell her, her parliament. Obviously, her and the daughter are not on very good terms right now. Her advisors are, all over the place in terms of, what's in the best interest of the country or her position. And then to add another layer to this, the French prime minister is also being blackmailed to not help the British prime minister release her kidnapped husband. Basically, what you see is you see the French prime minister pretending to help, but in the background undermining all the rescue efforts. And you see a British prime minister who's willing to kind of give everything possible to the French right now to save her husband and not getting kind of anything in return. So I've watched 2.5 episodes, and the plot so far, the acting so far, it's very, very solid. It's I think, a great effort from Netflix. The reason I give it I guess, a mooch rather than a must subscribe is that this is not for everybody. I mean, this is a very Netflixian kind of genre. I mean, the production quality is good, but the shootouts aren't great, right? It's not kind of like big screen type stuff. And if you're not into these little political drama, political thriller, chessboard type matches, it's not going to be for you. But if this is your genre and you really like kind of like these political intrigues, these things with political leaders facing all these, difficult choices, this rivalry stuff, I think the plot is really going to appeal to you. It's definitely within kind of the Netflix wheelhouse. Only 5 episodes. It is what it is. I think it's very, very good. I will probably finish it, actually. I have to say, I've liked it a lot. It fits a Netflix genre. I mean, we've seen this kind of with like The Night Manager. We've seen this with The Agent. There's a few that, Netflix has that kind of have like these similar kind of like one-word titles, and all of them kind of like very, very solid efforts. Definitely fit, the niche that you're trying to fill. Very satisfying, but none of them are like, okay, well, this is as good as Breaking Bad, or this is Better Call Saul, or this is something that's just like timeless that you have to see. Everyone will be talking about it, Games of Thrones, House of the Dragon, so forth. So that is Hostage on Netflix. I give it a mooch, but I have to say, I think it would be up your alley. And when they do the first reveal for why the French prime minister is being blackmailed, I'm sure you're going to message me and be like, oh, I can't believe they did that.
Okay.
That's a good reveal. So without further ado, what did you have this week?
I had a show on Amazon Prime called The Runarounds.
Oh, I gave that to you.
The Runarounds, spoiler alert, it's a skip. But it's not a skip because the show is bad.
Okay.
It's a skip because you and I are not the target audience. It's a new show. It's young. It's hip.
Yeah.
I'm old.
You're young and hip.
I need a new hip. But the reality is that we're probably not the target demographic. This is like a High School Musical style show.
Oh, really?
Yeah. In the sense that it's a show about a bunch of high school seniors.
Okay.
Who are about to graduate. Some have been accepted into colleges, some haven't. Some are, planning on getting rid of their acceptance letters and just kind of running away because they're in a band. They have these delusions of grandeur that they're going to make it in this band. They're in like this quasi California style small town. Every episode there's one big, or not every episode, I guess. I've only seen 2 episodes, but there's a big musical number. And of course, the lead singer has a crush on one of the girls in high school who's dating someone else. Like all the typical modern day-esque teen dramas. All the boys are exceptionally young and handsome with long flowing locks and, beautiful heads of hair. All the girls are very young, pretty girls. So, it will appeal to a certain group. I am not that group. You are not that group. So again, I recognize that the show has merits.
Yeah.
There are certain genres like horror movies. They do exceptionally well. They're very good. But again, I am not the target audience. I don't like going to see a movie and getting scared or, having my heart rate go up like I'm running a marathon. That's
Oh
not
my
my thing.
God.
Like there's always that one person in the group who loves going to theme parks but hates roller coasters. I'm that guy.
What?
Yeah,
You're not a roller coaster guy?
not a roller coaster guy. I'm not a,
Whoa.
yeah, exactly. Love
I
theme
have to say,
parks, not a roller coaster guy.
all right, what's in the theme park besides the roller coaster?
All the snacks, all the
Oh,
attractions.
yeah. I'm a snack guy. I'm with you on this.
Yeah, I will sit there holding your bags while eating a churro and watching you have a good time, and I will
Oh
have a
my
great
God.
time.
There should be a market for like the best friend who's like, hey, I'll hold your backpack and your stuffed animal and your sunglasses and everything while you do the thing.
You just buy me a couple of churros, buy me a bowl of nachos and some popcorn and some sodas and a beer. I'm happy.
First of all, I don't think there's beer, but Dippin' Dots.
Oh, exactly. You know what I mean? That's what I'm talking about. I will gladly carry all your shit and watch you go
Oh
through
my
a
God.
log flume. Not a problem.
All right. Okay, back on track. So we're saying the run around. For you, it's a skip, but you can see some merits in it that like
Absolutely. Yeah,
for the right genre.
exactly.
Yeah. You know who we have not spoken about recently is the artist formerly known as HBO Max. Tell me what they're called now.
They're called HBO Max. They were called
Oh,
Max.
okay. And they were Discovery, kind of, right?
Well, they were, yeah. So actually, this
Yeah.
comes in a good time. HBO was a separate entity owned by Warner Brothers. Discovery was a separate entity. They merged.
Yeah.
They then are now demerging. Now there are rumors Paramount Skydance is going to acquire them.
No way. Really?
Paramount shares went up 8% last week. Warner Brothers shares went up 30%.
Why did they demerge?
It was just not a successful strategy for them. Their strategy wasn't working out there because their idea was let's merge and
Yeah.
let's basically bring down costs because their debt ratio was incredibly high.
Hmm. I mean, we were skeptical of that from like the get-go, though. I mean, it was
Exactly.
always kind of
From the very beginning, we were
rubbish.
skeptical. So
Yeah.
Warner Brothers on the last couple of weeks has been on a tear trying to prove to the world how
Mm.
profitable Superman has been. Variety published a piece that says Superman made $125 million in profit. I don't think they've made that much money theatrically. I'm not saying it was a bad movie. It's made a lot of money,
Mm.
but I don't think it's made $125 million of profit in the theatrical run. With these rumors, I think someone at Warner Brothers basically went to Variety and said, that's how much money we've made, release it out in the media so that it
Yep.
makes Warner Brothers a
Yeah.
more palatable or a more desirable acquisition target.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So anyway, so there are rumors that David Ellison is interested in acquiring Warner Brothers Media. Anyway, that's the random news of the day.
The reason I raised it was on HBO Max, there's a new show out that's getting a lot of, I guess, some coverage. I watched it. It's called Task.
Yeah.
It is Mark Ruffalo and also Tom Pelphrey. And I think you and I should take a deeper dive into it.
Sounds great. I'm looking forward to it.
Okay. Pete, spin the wheel. What have we assigned ourselves, Streamer Skip, for next episode?
All right. Next week, we're both on Apple TV.
Ooh.
You are watching Jason Momoa's latest show, Chief of War.
All right.
And I am watching Prime Target.
Ooh. All right. Pete, before we sign off for the day, can you please remind everyone of our social media and YouTube locations so that people can like, agree, disagree, suggest, and generally comment and pontificate about our opinions?
Absolutely. Like this video, leave a comment below, subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to hit that notification bell.
Could not have said it better myself. Pete, thank you for joining us this Saturday morning on Stream or Skip. Listeners, thanks for tuning in. We will see you next week, next episode, Films and Stuff podcast. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Ethan. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Films and Stuff. If you haven't already, please subscribe and review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever podcasts are downloaded. Films and Stuff. There is no substitute.